Hi, I'm Carl with Horizon Solutions, and welcome to Resource Stage Study Hall. When there's no lights or there's bad lights, things don't look so good. It's a bit of a mess. So let's turn the lights back up. Let's get us back to normal here. There we go. Thank you very much. Today we are talking about lighting, and we're talking about lighting for your school. I think that this is a topic that I've been talking to schools about for now decades. It feels like more than it feels like. It has been decades. And we discuss kind of different parts of lighting for schools all the time. Today, we're going to take a short and quick look at different types of lighting for schools, different types of lighting that might help you enhance your shows. If you are joining us live right now, you can feel free to go ahead and ask some questions. Jordan is monitoring questions right now. If you are joining us on YouTube or Facebook, there's ways to connect with us on Teams right now, and you can ask questions to Jordan. Otherwise, if you're watching this and it's December 2026 and you've got questions, go ahead and give us a call or send us an email, and we'll try to help you out. Because, of course, these videos are on YouTube and Facebook and other places. All right, so without further ado, most schools kind of fall in the category of three different areas. Either no lights at all, and for any type of show you're needing to rent lights. Maybe some old lights with that lighting systems that control of some sort of control surface or some sort of controlled device. That could be a light switch, or it could be knobs on the wall. It could be a lighting console, like an old one I've got here. I'll show you in a second. And then sometimes that's connected to a dimmer pack that then can control the lights. And then the third option, if you're lucky enough to be in a school that has LED fixtures. So if you are in a school that's close to us here in London, Ontario, that would be a school that has maybe been built in the last maybe 10 years, and you've got LED fixtures there, or if you've been lucky enough to do an upgrade at your school. So we're going to talk about a couple of different pieces there. This is an older fixture. This is a fixture that we refer to as a Fresnel, and that is because it has a round lens with a number of circles, and that Fresnel lens is one that you often would see in places like in a lighthouse. So an old school lighthouse has a Fresnel lens, and this is a very traditional type of fixture. It has a bulb in the back, the lens on the front, and then the bulb can move forward and back to give you different sizes of beams. So I'm going to start by showing you how to properly hang one of these lights so that it's safe, whether this is something that you're rearranging in your school or if this is something that you're renting, then you know how to do that. So let's do that right now. So for starters, the C-clamp does go at the top, and it's a good idea to make sure that it's tight on the fixture, on the yoke of the fixture before you get started. So for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to hook this here, and I am going to just tighten it down with my hand right here, and I'm probably in front of the camera. Sorry about that. I'm going to get that on there, and for the moment, I'm just going to get that finger tight until I can get the safety cable on there. Safety cable just wraps around, and then I'm going to grab my handy dandy lighting tool. You can use a C-wrench, or you can use a box end wrench, or some other sort of wrench if you'd like. And then I've got that nice and tight, so that's not going anywhere. As I back up here a little bit, I can adjust the fixture using the handle on the side of the light. And I also can use, again, my handy tool or whatever wrench you've got. I can adjust the focus knob on the side, which loosens off this pin so that I can rotate the fixture to get it focused where I want it to be, and then tighten that down. So that is the best way to do that, making sure that you have the safety cable on it. This light is using a twist lock connector. Most elementary schools that we work with do not use twist lock. They use U-ground or standard wall plug, sometimes referred to as Edison. Mostly our American friends call it Edison. In Canada, we normally call it a U-ground connection. This one's a twist lock. I'm actually just using an adapter here to go from twist lock to U-ground to plug into our small dimmer here. And so this system is a lighting control console, which I've got on the table over here. That has a control line going to a dimmer, and then the power is going from the dimmer to the fixture. It's pretty simple. It's the kind of thing that many schools have, and sometimes they have these small dimmers mounted around. Sometimes those dimmers are mounted on the wall, either on stage or backstage somewhere. So that's something that you may be able to find as you kind of walk around your space. You may be able to find it that way. Okay, I'm going to head around to the console here. And over here, I can bring up the fixture. So as I bring up the channel on the console, which has been pre-configured, pre-patched to go to the dimmer pack, that is telling this channel on that fixture to come up to full. And as I bring it up and down, it changes the intensity there. I am going to just show you here for a second. If I adjust that T handle on the side, I can bring the light up a bit. And then on the back of the fixture, there's a handle which I can bring one way or the other to adjust the size of the beam of light. So one way is a tight spot, the other way is a much bigger flood, but this fixture, this Fresnel fixture, will always be a soft light. It will always be nice and soft and a flooded sort of a look. You can see around the edges, it's not really sharp. This is a very easy light to use for schools or for simple productions because you don't have to worry about kind of if things look really harsh and really sharp. We use a lot of this type of fixture, have done for years, and this is the type of fixture that is used in professional theaters, right down to elementary schools, and has been for decades and decades. Now, that is with a lamp. And yeah, it gets kind of warm. So we're going to talk about LED in a second. But before we jump there, oh, I should say there are some older versions of this type of fixture or less expensive versions of this fixture that do not have the handle on the back for adjustment. There is a like a butterfly nut on the bottom of it that you can adjust there, and that will have the same function of moving the lamp forward and further back from the lens, again, changing the size of the beam. This is a barn door. A barn door is intended to allow you to shape the light. So this barn door here has 4 different flags on it. You can see, and I can adjust each of these types of flags. There we go. Yep, I can do that. I'm going to slide this onto the front of the fixture. This is a pretty standard size. There are different sizes of fixture openings and different sizes of barn doors, but this is a pretty standard one. I would say that probably 70 to 80% of the wash fixtures we work with have this size of barn door. So now with the barn door, I can open up the fixture a little bit, make it a little bit wider, and I can use this to shape the light. So you can see I've created a bit of a rectangle there, and as I rotate that, now I can make a beam of light that's a little bit more defined. Still a soft edge as we go from light to no light. It's a nice gradual sort of a drop-off. That can work really well. But this is really good if what you need to do is maybe not have light somewhere. So again, I'm going to widen this out. I can make it so that the light kind of stops right at the bottom of my stage here. I don't know if you can see that so well, but I can have it, well, there we go. I can make it so that it's stopping around the edge of the bar here. So no light down here and more light up here. Okay, I hope that makes sense on camera. So this is a Fresnel with a bulb. In this case, this fixture is using a 500 watt bulb and using a barn door. Okay, that's a Fresnel. If you've got any questions as we're going, feel free to go ahead and ask that on the live stream. So again, that's a Fresnel that is a older style fixture. Let's look at what the next step from there is. Now, the fixture we're using today is an LED fixture that has a number of different elements in it. And it is a fixture that we use for a lot of different projects, but this is just an example. So I'm going to bring up this, oops, sorry. this light. That is the ETC Color Source Par V Zoom. It's got a long name. And this light's great because it kind of emulates an old Fresnel, but it's LED. And one of the things that differentiates between good LED fixtures and cheaper LED fixtures is the quality of that white light. So I'm going to just give you a quick example here. If I bring up these two fixtures side by side, this is the LED fixture, and this is the incandescent fixture with the bulb. So you can see both of them have a pretty nice white light to them. Whereas sometimes when we're working with an LED fixture, sometimes the fixture ends up being a little bit more, having a little bit more of a purple color when it's white. I don't know if that translates super well on camera, but everything's a little bit more purple here. So I'm going to just go back to my white. This is great fixture. We can zoom this one as well. Not quite the same as the other one as far as how tight, but I do want to make sure that I show you two features. One is that we can change the color to kind of be whatever we would like it to be. So if we want it to be red, we can do that. If we want it to be blue, more of a cyan, more of a yellow color. So it's really great because now I've got one light that does a bunch of different things. This fixture is a little bit different if you're using this in your school because now you're going from a control console directly to the fixture. You don't need a dimmer in line. If you're a school that is looking to purchase a new system, that is a cost savings because now you don't need that dimmer there, unless you're wanting to control both conventional fixtures and LED fixtures at the same time, which at that point then you may need to have both. Most lighting control consoles that we sell today can control both incandescent fixtures and LED fixtures. So if you're transitioning, you have that option. We do have some schools that have purchased consoles to work with their incandescent fixtures, their older fixtures with dimmers, and then they start to add on LED fixtures as they can afford to, or they just rent additional fixtures for rentals, for special shows, that kind of thing. And they can use that console along with it, and it works out well. So the ability to change color is a big thing. Another big thing is that because you can change color, you can have less fixtures. If I want to change the color of this light, I need to put a piece of plastic, a piece of gel, in front of the fixture to make it blue or green or orange. So I might need to have more fixtures on stage, and I might need to have more dimming and more capability. With a fixture like this, then I have many of those colors all within one light. That is part of the reason that this fixture is worth a lot more money, because one fixture can replace 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 lights with just one light. One of the other things to keep in mind is that this is a wash fixture, but most LED wash fixtures cannot be controlled with this barn door. This one's a little bit different, but I'll show you how this is different. Earlier on, we were looking at the Fresnel, and when I adjusted the barn door, I could get a fairly good line across there. Let's take a look at what happens with this fixture. Understanding that this is one of the better LED fixtures for this kind of thing. If I start bringing that down, I think hopefully this can translate on video, where now what we have is more like banding across here rather than a straight line across where the light stops. Again, this may not translate super well in video, and to be honest, for your school production, it may not matter. You might say, you know what, it's good enough for me to just be able to block off light off of one side of the stage or the other to be able to use that. And that's great. There's different expectations that different people have on how their equipment works, and that's totally fine. So that's a Fresnel wash fixture, and this is a LED par wash fixture. There's a lot of different options from there too. I'd like to show you a different type of light now, and this is what's usually referred to as an ellipsoidal or a spot fixture. Different than a follow spot that you might stand behind in your show, and you may stand there and follow a person as they're walking across a stage. This is a spot that is typically set to light a specific area. This is a good example because it's an LED fixture again, and this light gives us the ability to change the size. So with the lens here, with these two lenses, I can adjust the two and get a different size of beam of light. An ellipsoidal fixture is good for throwing light a further distance. So sometimes we use these at the front of the stage, and then we're throwing light further, and we can also get a really nice sharp edge. Hope that makes some sense. I'm going to show you now one of the interesting things you can do with that, and that is that I can get a very, very sharp edge with this if I bring in the shutters. So now with this light, I don't need a barn door. I have shutters that are built into the fixture, and by adjusting these different shutters, I can get a very specific look. This can be really handy, again, if you're trying to spot a specific area or if you're trying to light something in a kind of an artistic sort of a way. It's really handy for that. This spot fixture is called the ETC Color Source Spot Junior, and it has all of the same sort of LED features of the other fixture in that it's cool light coming out of this as opposed to that old Fresnel that gets very hot. It has color mixing features and the additional feature of how I can adjust the shutters. Okay. One of the things you'll notice if we can take a close look to the back of these lights is that I have power coming in to both my LED fixture and my LED wash fixture as well as my spot fixture, but I also have control lines jumping between them. So these control lines are coming from the console. Gives me the ability to go ahead and control each fixture individually. Again, neither one of these LED fixtures require me to have a dimmer. So if you can see that now, so I have a control line coming in and a control line coming out of there. Okay, so there we go. That is the Color Source Spot Junior as an example of an ellipsoidal. I want to talk a little bit about how we use lighting for a second. And one of the things is to just light up people so that everybody can see them. You want to make sure that grandma and grandpa can see the kids on stage, or mom and dad, but you might also want to create some mood. So you want to be able to create the idea that you know, we're now in a scene where it's bright and shiny, and it's bright and you know, the kids should be having a good time now, so we're going to sing a fun song. Or if it's going to be dark and we're going to sing a song about it's a rainy day, so maybe we make it more of a dark blue color or something of that sort. Or maybe you're having your kids sing a song from Wicked and you're going to make the whole stage green. Then you can do all kinds of fun things with that. Again, with an older style fixture, we can use gel to do that, and we sell a whole rainbow of gel colors for that sort of thing. And if you're using an LED fixture, then it's as easy as just clicking on the screen to get that color that you would like. But one of the other things that's kind of fun to be able to do is to be able to project an image with the light to give a specific look or to invoke a feeling. So I've got a good fun one here. Oh, we got a question.
We got a question.
Yes.
So question for the audience, from the audience, is for a school on a budget, what are the most important lights to have? Visibility is great, but in addition to wash or floodlights, where should we start?
Yeah, I would definitely start with a wash fixture. So I would start with figuring out how can I just wash the stage to get everybody so that so that all the audience can see them. This older Fresnel fixture, if you've got some of these in your school, that's a great place to start. If you don't have something like that, or maybe an old par fixture, which a par fixture is like the kind that, you know, we used to put on the front lawn for Christmas, or they're kind of just a big wash light. Something like that is great if you're just wanting to light so that everybody can see. An LED fixture like this one, again, a wash fixture, is a great solution. If you are not sure about your your budget, then there are some less expensive fixtures than this one that we could talk about. But again, there are some things you want to keep in mind. So for instance, the distance from the lighting fixtures to the stage, you're going to want to think about that, because a lot of the less expensive fixtures are designed with a very tight beam. Some of them, especially if they're ones that are designed for club and DJ use or concert use, they're going to have a nice tight beam so that they can be used from a bit of a distance, but also so that they have a nice, again, tight beam for maybe in haze or in smoke if you're using a fog machine on stage. So thinking about that, it may or may not be the right fixture for you on your stage if it's really tight and all you end up with is a bunch of spots on stage. I was working with a community theater a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of our people here went down and helped that community theater to take those fixtures that they had purchased that are very spotty. Again, a wash fixture, but meaning a tight wash beam. They helped them with that to put a diffusion in front of the fixture, so a lens that's more diffuse and would make the fixture into more of a flood. That helped them a ton because they had a bunch of fixtures, but it was so spotty on stage. They were trying to create things like a living room scene, and it ended up not looking like a living room scene. So we ended up using these flood diffusion lenses, and then it evened everything out. So you can use a less expensive light if you're using lensing to help to spread it out. With a fixture like this one, sometimes we do that still. It depends on whether or not we need to do that, depending on the throw. Okay? So I typically will tell schools, start with a wash light and then go from there. And this kind of fixture is the kind of fixture that is currently being spec'd on a number of schools. We're doing a lot of work right now with the Thames Valley District School Board and the London District Catholic School Board in the London area. But we're also doing a bunch of work with Peel School Board and Halton School Board as well. And they are kind of standardizing to a light like this for their elementary schools. I hope that helps. Okay, so as I was saying, talking a bit about what some of the options are for kind of adding some mood and adding some effect to your stage. So this is one that we've used on a couple of different things that's kind of fun. You can see here we have a T-Rex. And that T-Rex gobo, now it looks a little bit fuzzy on the screen here, but we can make that sharp. And that is what's referred to as a gobo. And the gobo fits inside the fixture. So that is a piece of steel. And I am going to actually bring that over to here. Can you see this on this camera? There we go. That's a piece of steel there. I'm going to put my hand behind it to help you out. And that fits inside there. And I am going to take this. You can see that this is actually upside down. Hopefully you can see that. The dinosaur is upside down in there. You can't see that. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. Okay. It's upside down. When I stick that inside the light, then through physics, flips it upside down here, or the right side up, and we get a dinosaur. Give you an idea of a couple of other ones. This is some trees. So maybe you're doing a show where you need to have some trees on stage, or maybe the show is taking place in a forest. Well, you can use a couple of lights like this and you can produce a pretty good looking forest on stage, and you don't have to paint it, and it can disappear when the next scene is no longer in a forest. So that's kind of handy. And don't get me wrong, we love working with students, we love working with volunteers, and if you've got people who want to paint, then get them painting for sure. But sometimes it's not practical, and sometimes you need to be able to switch scenes and do different things. So this is kind of cool. It also means that when I do something like this and I have this tree, then I can make the tree green if I want it to be. Or if I wanted to, then I can make the tree strobe and flash if I was trying to create some sort of a scary look for for this part of the show. Here's another example. This is a gobo. Is it going to fit in there? There we go. This is a gobo of some snowflakes. And so, again, maybe you have a holiday concert coming up or a holiday show coming up, and you would like to kind of just add a bit of pizzazz for the choir or for whatever's going on. Throwing up a couple of these is pretty handy, and this is the kind of thing that's pretty easy to rent. And I should say that if you were to use something like this and you just need it to turn on for the entire show and you don't need to change it, you can take this light without the control and you can just turn it on. So you could set it up on a stand if you needed to, or set it up on a base like it is right now that could sit on the floor or on top of a table. And then you can just turn the light on and you can produce something like this. The other thing is that this fixture is pretty much the same as this one, only brighter and a bit better. But I can do things like use the shutters to cut off different areas of that output. A fixture like that, a spot fixture of that sort, can help you do a lot of interesting things. And I should say that we have some schools that actually purchase custom gobos for putting into their fixtures to do things like school logo, or if the school has a specific slogan that you would really like to have your student body embrace, then you can have that custom made into a piece of steel or a piece of glass, and then you can project that for different types of events. I think there's another question.
Question. With Gobos, is there a digital way to do this if we cannot get to the lights or access the lights easily?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one of the things we're not really talking about today, but I think is going to end up being a study hall coming up in the near future, is using video projectors to be able to be able to produce a similar sort of effect. We have a lot of our professional and community theater clients doing that already. We have a growing number of our high school clients that are doing that sort of thing. And we do even have occasionally some elementary schools that are using video projectors to project full backdrops for their performances. And that is something that we can help you with. Actually, I think we got a phone call today, just about an hour ago, from one of the schools here in London, and they're having a problem with a projector, and so we're sending over a rental projector to help them out as they are projecting the backdrop for their productions there. And it's not hard to do. We have some people who are doing this with very elaborate and, frankly, what can be very costly software to be able to create that sort of effect and to be able to transition and create layers for these different types of things. And then we have other people that are using PowerPoint or Keynote, and they're very successful to get some really interesting looks on stage. Give you a hint, if you're using things like a morph transition to go between different slides, you can get some really interesting looks as things move around on the stage. So that is something that we're going to be talking about at a future resource stage study hall, where using things like short throw projectors or even projectors that you might have that are on a cart that you can definitely pull out. All right, covered a number of different things today. I think we're getting pretty close to the end, unless there's any other questions online. Certainly, if you do come up with any questions and we haven't covered it here, then please feel free to give us a call at Horizon. You can find us online at horizonsolutions.net. We have a full team of people who do systems design and sales, as well as people who do rentals and events. And a number of us are able to come out and do training for you in your school or in your community theater to help you and your students have an idea as to how this equipment works. We're also very happy to talk to parent-teacher groups or to talk to administration if you'd like us to discuss how a system can be implemented in a short period of time or over a number of years. One more thing, you can find more information about these kind of events at resourcestage.ca or at horizonsolutions.net. We have another session coming up here at 1:30, and that is going to be with Jordan, and he's going to be talking about similar sort of thing to what I'm talking about today, only he's going to be looking at audio. So kind of the how to put together an audio system and some of those pieces in an audio system that you want to be thinking about for your upcoming events or your upcoming maybe it's invite the kindergarten kids to the school for the day or something like that. There's all kinds of things that we get involved with schools. Thank you very much for joining us. If there's anything we can help you with, let us know.